Hello, everybody. Hi, Vic.
Hi, Raj. You're
How
looking
are you?
radiant like as usual.
Well, thank you. You know, the camera is nice. It can fool people a little bit.
No, I
You're
didn't.
good?
I'm good. I'm good.
So I'm still gonna give my guests and my friends and students to give another couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna introduce them. But I'm so excited for this for personal reasons. You know, as you know, we've talked a little bit about my health and
Yes.
challenges. And then just because I think it's so valuable, and I don't think most people know about the value of enzymes and probiotics. So we have 3 sessions planned with you. Today's the first. You
Yes.
know, we're going to talk about inflammation today. We're going to talk about gut health and then just boosting our strength after COVID. So many people have had it. So let me see. Sangeeta, hello. Um, Shakti, hello. Lots of love to everybody. Okay. And I'm going to give it 1 more minute. Usually I start Vic maybe 5 minutes after. So do.
No
You guys
problem.
must be excited in Brazil. Gurudev is coming. You're going to have TRM. You have a program in Rio. So very excited for you. He's going to be here also in, I guess, May 27th in a few days, Friday. So let's get started. Full disclosure first, I know Vic and his family for many years. And their family, especially these couple years with all my challenges that I've been going through, Vic is the guy I go to for input and guidance and advice, and always treats me like a brother, elder brother. Sometimes I treat him like he's the younger brother, but we're family. And the interesting thing is, I've known Vic has been in enzymes for all the years that I know him and his daughters. But somehow it never occurred to me that he was doing enzymes in terms of human nutrition. And a couple of years ago, very recently, we happened to be talking and he explained to me that no, there's a huge thing on enzymes and probiotics. And since then, I've been saying, Vic, I have to put you on. I need you to talk to my students and the followers because it could be so valuable to them. So I really want you to pay close attention today. See that there's so much in here. Actually, I talked to Vic a couple days ago, and there was so much. We've done our best to shorten it. And then if there's more, we can always bring him back. But let me introduce you to him, his background. First of all, many people in the nutraceutical industry consider him the godfather of enzymes. Actually, his father, it's a family business, his father um, figured out a system in extracting papain, I think, and you can tell us more about it later. And then it's a family business. Vic took it over and he's made it, it's a 45 country global company where his products and what he's doing, he's making an impact. He's been in the business for over 40 years. He is the specialist for enzymes and probiotics, not just commercial use of it, but really in terms of our health and our wellness and our overall stamina and strength and digestion and immunity and so on. So Vic, I know that I could say a lot. I know that you're the chairman of a publicly traded company in India. It's super successful, but I'm going to leave all of that aside and start with the topic today is power of enzyme as it impacts and in combating inflammation. It's a word that's used a lot in the world, especially around health. And I'm sure that my viewers, hello everybody. I see that you're waving and I'm not ignoring you. I do see you. Lots of love to you. I think we should start with really, what is inflammation? What is the impact of that? Why do we use that word so much as it comes to our health? So let's start with what is inflammation, Vic?
Thank you, Raj. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for your kind introduction. It is wonderful to be with you and with your viewers this morning, Tuesday morning.
Yes.
And it is so nice to talk about health and enzymes, because nowadays, especially after COVID, but even before the COVID, as we are aging, uh, we face a lot of health problems due to so many different reasons. And most of the people who are so educated, highly educated professionals in their field, but don't know much about their own body. So we always think that when we are sick, we just go to the doctor and get some pills. And, now voila, we are okay, whole again. Well, that is not exactly we run our life. If you're driving the car, one should know where is a gas pedal, where is a brake, right? And
Yes.
how to
Yes.
drive the steering wheel. I mean, at
Yes.
least that much knowledge where to put the petrol in the car. And surprisingly to me, most of the people don't know nothing about their own body or their health. So it is wonderful to talk about today a little bit about it. This is it's a large subject, very big subject, and we'll try to extract some of these things, even though there are 3 sessions of our age, but they sometimes cross here and there because they have to. And we'll try to. Your question, coming back to your question, is what is inflammation? And it's a very, very word, this word is very commonly used many, many times, but we don't know what it is. Or there is 2 things. One thing we have to remember is inflammation is like fire within, a simple definition.
Yeah.
And it is a very interesting, what do you mean by fire within? We also know inflammation with 5 different areas which we can identify with, Raj. One is, let's say, when there is a pain, okay? When there is a swelling, when you have a fever or cold, when it is red, burning, something like skin burning. Those are all identification of inflammation.
And what does that indicate to us when we see these signs? What is that an indication for the individual? Something's obviously happening in the body, right?
Obviously, because something which you can easily identify when there is a pain, it is a pain. I mean, you cannot operate much of anything. And
Correct.
And it just hurts. Anytime, even if we want to do a meditation, we cannot concentrate on meditation because there is a pain, in the body. It's very difficult
Well,
to
it's your
ignore.
body screaming, right? Your body's saying, hey, something's
Pay
wrong.
attention to me.
Take care.
Yeah.
Pay attention, right? So what causes inflammation, Vic? What are the causes of inflammation other than falling down and cutting yourself and having an infection? What are some of the other things on a daily basis?
Well, there are so many causes, so many reasons to get body inflamed. See, the very simple cause you can think about is food. Type of food we eat. Most of in our modern life and daily life, we love to eat food which is high calorie content, fried, samosas and kachoris are our favorite ones. Then refined foods, these are all, so daily different classes of foods do cause inflammation in the body. Then there is other causes like which is not under our control, like air we breathe. There is a lot of pollution in the air. and we are
Yeah.
breathing it knowingly or unknowingly. It doesn't matter because we have to. And that also causes inflammation in the body.
Yes.
Then there are sometimes accidents when we fall down or we hit or bump our knee or head someplace, and here is a problem, So that
Yes.
is cause inflammation. So there are various reasons like that which will cause the inflammation in the body.
I think one of the biggest one that I recall talking to you about was stress, right? Emotional, physical, mental stress is another thing that causes inflammation. And maybe it's low-grade inflammation. It's not so obvious as the fire, as you said, the symptoms of it being red and swollen and pain. But there's something called low-grade inflammation that comes from stress. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. See, you brought a very important and very sensitive subjects to most of these guys because we are always under stress. In
Yes.
everyday life, I mean, it's stress. In the morning, you have to get up, go to the work, stress.
Yeah.
Driving in the crowded freeways are stress. Bombay streets are bad. Everywhere, doesn't matter. I travel throughout the world. No matter where you go, everybody complained about the driving conditions. So
Yes.
this stress, but then there is a family stress, there is a financial stress. All these stresses also creates hormonal imbalances in the body. Thought processes create a lot of different secretions, and
Mm-hmm.
they create a stress. That stress in the body creates inflammation. Okay. Uh, there are two types of inflammation actually. One is called chronic inflammation, and one is an acute inflammation. To separate them differently. When we
Mm-hmm.
get into these outside conditions um, and get hurt somewhere or it bleeds, we know that it is an acute inflammation because
Yeah.
right now, right there, we want to pay attention to it. But there is a chronic inflammation or which is continuously going because inflammation is good for us, okay, to a certain extent because that is how body wants to identify that there is a problem. And when
Understood.
there is a problem, um, unless you recognize it, you cannot treat it, right?
Correct. Yeah. But
So
low-grade inflammation or silent inflammation, in a way, goes silent, meaning we're not recognizing it, correct? And from what I understand, it is one of the biggest cause of chronic diseases. And that's growing in the world because stress is growing in the world.
absolutely, and you are
Yeah.
you are so correct. Actually, what happened is I saw a first article which was really concentrated on inflammation was in 2004 in Times Magazine. The
Oh,
headline, which says that the silent killer, the secret killer, okay, is
mhm.
called inflammation. And it is surprisingly, there are links between inflammation and heart attacks, cancers, Alzheimer's, and all other diseases. And this was an article came in 2004.
I
Okay.
see. I see.
And people don't pay much of attention. It's already like an 18, 20 years we recognize in the mainstream. And everybody understood that what is happening with the inflammation and how it reacts. But anyway,
So
coming
how do
back
we
to
deal with it? How do we deal with it? And before you answer that, I mean, you already mentioned some of the chronic diseases, but also everything from like bloating to poor digestion to, leaky gut, all kinds of other things happen which trigger inflammation, right? And then the more inflammation there is, the more these problems occur. It's a vicious cycle, right? So how does the body deal with inflammation, and what is it that you suggest we could do? And that's leading us into what is an enzyme. But that, I think, is the big question.
Uh, yes. See, the thing in the initially I said that whenever the food we eat, you know, causes the inflammation, depends on it. The air we breathe causes the inflammation. Toxins which we take in the body create the inflammation.
Yes.
And this sometimes, these inflammations, as I said in the beginning also, the inflammation for body is important because that is how the body reacts and corrects. So as long as body is correcting those problems, and we are in a pink health, you know, nice and healthy. The problem which really occurs is then you keep on doing it again and again and again. Now that becomes a regular habit per se, okay? And that creates the inflammation which is not getting cured. Body, how many times, you know that how many times if it is happening all the time, we ignore it. The same thing body does. It's start ignoring. It's not getting repaired completely before it gets, you get again hurt. On the same day,
Right.
same air,
Yeah.
you are going to breathe again every minute, every day of it, kind of thing. So then this low level of inflammation, chronic inflammation, sets in into the body. When this low level of chronic inflammation, because of the food, because of the air, because of the various other reasons, then you try to ignore it. Body try to send a signal to you, but you try to ignore it. Then undigestion of the food, all of these things really creates a lot of issues. Gradually they start building up, and
So
that's
what's the
where the
solution?
enzymes comes into the picture.
That's where the enzymes come in. So in a simple way, because I know there's a big sort of conversation we could have, but what is an enzyme for our viewers?
Very simple definition of enzyme, Raj, is it's a protein, a special protein produced by the living cell. Remember this. All the proteins, all the enzymes are proteins, but all the proteins are not enzymes. So they are special proteins produced by only living cells, not dead cells. Once it dies, the cell dies, there is no secretion of enzymes. And only living cells can produce enzymes. And that is a very simple definition of enzyme. It is a large molecule, and everybody have enzyme production in their body.
And the value of enzyme for our body is what? I know that when we spoke, you gave me a metaphor. You said it's not the engine in a car, but it's the oil in the car.
Yes. The enzymes are catalyst. Okay.
Catalyst.
So they are proteins, but they are also catalyst. Because of their presence, all the body biological reactions happen in our body. Everything. Because
literally everything? Literally everything?
Most of the reactions. Now there are some hormones which creates create some issues. Create the reactions happen, but almost all the biochemical reactions, biological reactions happen in the body is due to enzyme presence. And because of their presence, the reaction happens. If they are not present, the reaction will not complete. And if it is not complete, it will be a low level stress.
So the connection between enzyme and inflammation is what? What's the connection?
The thing is, the products which creates the inflammation, like in a body, if there is some chemicals is released by the body, okay, and if they are not broken down, then it will create inflammation. But if they are broken down, they are not necessarily inflamed, like they will create a problem for you. Example, simple example I will give you is like a gluten in the in the wheat. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we eat wheat flours, breads, etc. all the time.
We
And
love it. Pizza and pasta.
pizza
We
and
love that.
pasta. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's favorite food. So this needs to be broken down, and this is only possible due to enzymes. Okay.
Ah.
And when you break down that gluten in the body, it will not be inflamed. Your body will not be inflamed. But some people cannot digest that gluten, protein again. So enzymes in our body, if they cannot digest the gluten, then they will create an inflammatory markers like immune
I
systems
see.
and inflammation, very, very close connections. And when you start inflaming your body or your digestive tract, then we have all sorts of problems.
So, okay, so enzymes help to break down food, not just gluten, carbohydrates, but also protein and fats, right? Like if you eat a piece of chicken or you eat some nuts, you need enzymes to help break that down. And there are different types of enzymes. So what you're saying is our body naturally produces enzymes. I'm just sort of recapping. It all our biological functions are dependent on enzymes. And when we don't break down food, or maybe when we overeat, like if there's a party and you ate, but then you eat and then you keep eating, and your body maybe doesn't produce enough enzymes potentially to break it down, which then you have food that sits in the gut, and I guess there's an inflammatory response. So would that be accurate? Is that what you're leading us to?
Absolutely accurate. I mean, the thing is, because something we don't see, and we love it. Food is the one excellent example in this particular case, is that let's say our stomach is very limited in size, right?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
keep on, when we like something like pizza, two pieces, one piece is sometimes one piece or two pieces are good enough, but pizza is too good. And then we keep on eating.
Yes, we do. So wait a minute. So I'm like, if I had more enzymes, like I'm gonna go to a party, and this is what I've learned from you. Not that I overeat that much or anything, but if I know I'm going to a party and I'm going to eat food that I normally don't eat at home, more than likely, then I do what you said. Take the 2 enzymes before food so that the food doesn't sit. And by the time I get home, I've already digested it, rather than I feel so full and, and I'm not going to move at night when I get home at 10 or exercise to move it out. So, but is it possible that our body doesn't produce enough enzyme, or is it just that we're overeating, or both?
Well, there is a limit to anything, no?
Okay.
It's a biological. See, you can, let's put it in a metaphor. You have let's say, a motor or engine or some pump, let's say pump. And now you bring it and it has a warranty guarantee of 5 years or 3 years, whatever that guarantee is. What is that it is developed is because if you use it in right way, not overheat it, not give you, cool down or all that, whatever the conditions are, then this motor will last you for 5 years. And so similarly, our body is guaranteed by the God, whoever is the creator, that it will last you for 100 years, provided you use it properly. All right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are some conditions, you need some energy, eat the food in a proper way. Now, if you overheat, you do all of that. There is a limited amount of juices, which is what we call it, enzyme is the juices, are produced in the body. They digested properly. That's why we never understood or never had any issues or problems. Now you take that, overheat it, you keep on running 24 hours, you keep on eating something which you are not supposed to eat, you are going to limit. So there is an enzyme limitation of the enzymes what body can produce.
Yeah.
And
But we used to eat healthier before, right? There was a time when we didn't eat as much white flour, for instance. We kept the food whole. We didn't process things out. We didn't eat canned foods and frozen foods. Um, and so the food itself would digest itself, because I do remember you saying food itself is enzyme, and certain foods have more enzyme than other, like white flour maybe doesn't have enzyme, and other fruits and vegetables do have enzymes, right? So can you just name like the top 5 things that you think people should eat because there's good enzymes in there?
well, there is a one very interesting thing, and it's a very huge topic by itself. But the food which is natural, live, which can call it live
Uh-huh.
food and dead food. Okay. What is live food? Anything which is
Chicken.
natural, like fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, it's live food. They
Yeah.
contain enzymes, they contain minerals, they contain phytonutrients, they contain all these essential things which body requires to function well. And then there is a dead food. Dead food is that which is you are cooking too much, um, you are, eating, let's say, uh, food which is
Like the
cooked, dead,
pastas.
dead meat. Um,
Wait. All meat is dead first, right? You don't
yeah,
eat
it
just
is.
spoiled meat.
Enzymes
Yeah,
are gone. The live food
I
has
see.
enzymes which are helping them to break by itself. Okay,
Uh-huh.
that is why they go bad. Actually, anything which is in can, dead food, because they are alive. Look, everything living has a expiry date, quote unquote.
Got it. Very
Anything
good.
which is not living and dead, you can keep it as long as you want in a freezer or refrigerator. So,
Yeah. So, okay, so food has enzymes. You mentioned minerals and vitamins and so on and so forth. And now, so I won't get it correct, but I'm going to let you talk about it. I do recall you also talking about enzymes have a pivotal role in vitamins. Like I can look to my left and I have a drawer full of vitamins that I take, supplements, whether it's D or C or K or B's.
all
So
kinds of
what is the relationship there? Because I learned something fascinating, that the vitamins I take are not serving me, even if it's through food, if I don't have the enzymes to somehow create whatever response is needed. So please talk about that also.
Raj, we and most of the medical community assume that we have plenty of enzymes in our body. By the
Uh-huh.
way, our body produces enzymes through liver, and there are at least known couple of thousand enzymes our body produces.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and then we said, okay, some of the things which we essentially need in the body to run those enzymes better, our
Uh-huh.
body function better, and they are lacking because they come from the food only. So, or from the external sources. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like vitamins or minerals. Okay. And phytonutrients, which is, there are so many other things. We'll talk about that a little later. But antioxidants, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So that only comes through the outside source. But they are like a helper to these enzymes which are in our body,
I see.
supposedly. And that they are also called coenzymes. That is like a co-pilot in the plane, which is a pilot
Ah.
is an enzyme, and your all other vitamins, minerals are co-pilots. They are
Uh-huh.
coenzymes helping these enzymes to work better. Okay. But if you exhaust your enzymes, or if your body don't produce that enzymes in your body,
Mm-hmm.
then these vitamins and minerals are of no use, because they don't react, they don't do digestion, they don't do anything else. So that is where the difference is. You got to have enzymes first to make them more effective, all these vitamin minerals. So that is where it is. We just take a lot of vitamins, minerals, but also we don't pay attention to our enzyme in the body itself. It is taken for granted.
But it's so fascinating. I don't think most people realize we just take the vitamin, but then maybe our liver, our pancreas, whatever else that produces enzymes has been, quote, burnt out from eating too much processed, unhealthy, uneasily digestible foods, I could say, and overeating. So then you're sort of burning your system from both ends. Not only are you not utilizing the vitamins, but then you're also burning the system out from the digestion and the effort and the energy. And one of the things we talk a lot about is energy. And I know that enzyme could be considered energy itself, wouldn't you say?
Enzyme is an energy. It's synonymous name. Without enzyme, there is no energy. So
Very
you asked me the definition before, and I gave you very technical definition. But enzyme, the second name of the enzyme is energy. And when you see a lot of energy in anybody, it's an enzyme.
Really? Wait, say that again.
Yeah,
When
you got
someone is very
enzymes,
energetic,
Raj.
it means enzymes?
Yeah, lot of enzymes you do have, But
So that explains you. At your age, I won't tell the secrets, but you have so much energy. And I keep saying to you, Vic, I don't understand. How are you managing it? So it's the enzymes that's creating what you're talking about.
I fell in love with enzymes long time ago when I started looking at it. I started taking those enzymes every morning. They are called systemic enzymes and digestive enzymes. We were talking before digestive enzymes, but there are enzymes which body secretes, which cleans up our blood systems, we cleans up our markers, inflammatory markers in the body. It happens and we don't know it, so we don't recognize it. But if you keep your systems like well-oiled machine, with taking enzymes, systemic enzymes, I call it, then you're full of bond of energy, lots of energy, youthfulness, lesser problems. I won't say no problems, but you reduce your problems. So it's like maintaining your car.
But
going.
you said so much now, Vic. Just give me a second because I don't want the viewers to miss this. You just said there are two types of enzymes. Digestive, we've been talking about digesting our food and so on and so forth. But then you just said there's systemic enzymes, which, to quote you, it cleans up our blood, our system. So the pollution from the air, the dead cells in our body, they have to get cleaned up, I suppose, somehow. It's a detoxing machine also, is what I hear you say, right?
Right.
And the more the body is detoxed, the more the blood is, quote, pure or cleaned up, to use your word, the more circulation, then the more vibrancy and more youthfulness and more energy and so on and so forth.
That is true. See, the thing is, I usually make an analogy, a very simple analogy. It's like our body is full of energy because we take oxygen, we breathe, and everything is connected to trillions of our cells in body, including probiotics or good bacteria in our body through the blood system. The blood is like a gutter. It is flowing throughout your entire cells, connecting it and giving the energy, food energy, oxygens, etc. And also carrying all that dirt from the cell, debris from the cell,
Yeah.
Yes. And that has to be, those are toxic to the body, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
And they have to be eliminated. So we do that by 5 different organs, as you know very well, like including breathing, air and all that. When we take out carbon dioxide, which we don't need for our body, we take oxygen in, carbon dioxide out, everybody knows it. But there are a lot of other gases we produce that has been eliminated through your mouth or through your, body. one of the things. So many different things. Our cells die all the time, and they have to be eliminated. So there is so much waste which is floating through and going through your system. And it is a well-run machine per se, and we don't realize it because it is, if anybody can look at our own body, it is a miracle actually. But this miracle runs very systematically with so many different things. But enzyme is a key part to it. And when these enzymes works properly, your system, your energy, everything is just flowing through and through. So it's a matter of how this systemic enzymes to keep it properly, or if not, then take exogenous enzymes to keep you running, you know.
What is that? What is an exogenous enzyme? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Tell me again.
Internally, when we produce the enzyme, that is internal enzymes, you know, which are working well. But sometimes we are short of something, like a body, like after the age of 40, 50, well, we have used up lot of enzymes. So what do? Then take from outside, like we are taking vitamins or minerals, pills, you know, taking enzymes outside by taking capsules. Okay.
So wait, again, there's so much valuable information that you're really providing, and as I said, many of the viewers, you know, they're already commenting that it's interesting. So you just said so many things. Okay, reduce chronic inflammation, we reduce chronic diseases because there is a direct link between the two. That's one thing. Number two, reduce the toxins in our body through enzymes. Of course, there's also air and breathing and so on. We reduce inflammation, which then reduces the illnesses, and everything from sleep to blood pressure to everything is affected, you know. Take digestive enzymes, meaning with food, then we help to digest and break down our food. The bread, then the potato becomes a glucose instead of just sitting there, or the protein we eat becomes an amino so that it doesn't sit there. And then, because our body can only use the smallest of particle of the fat, the carbohydrate, or the protein, and we need enzymes to do that. So with all that said, there are a couple of questions around, does meditation practice improve either enzyme secretion or something else? Now, I know there's a direct link between breathing, meditation, prayerfulness, exercise in reducing inflammation, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I can see that there could be a corollary response to enzyme, but can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Well, there are several reasons we looked at what is causing inflammation, right? And you don't have to take any enzymes, and we can live very happy 100 years of life, which is God-given, provided we are in absolutely eating right, has no stress, breathing fresh air, you know, don't live in the jungles probably, I guess. But that is not true. We cannot do that. I mean, we live our everyday life. Now that limits our, the entire bodily functions. And so as we get older, nowadays the diseases, chronic diseases are coming at the age of 30, 40, 50 even. Before we used to call it an old age disease, because as it is getting 60 or 70, we'll set up a diabetic conditions, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and all kinds of autoimmune disease systems. But nowadays, look at it. About 1% of our population is gluten allergen. Even 2 years, 3 years old kids are allergic to the gluten. So many things, leaky gut syndromes, all of these issues which are creating autoimmune disease systems. And to that, what I'm saying is, not that we all has to worry about it, we have to take care of our health ourselves. We cannot just go when we get sick and go to the doctors. You know, we
Agree.
have
Yeah.
to eliminate as much as we can avoid the diseases now are the problems to our body, and that's why we have to take care of it. And when you are taking care of it, enzymes can be a and probiotics can be very integral part of the entire health system, ecosystem.
Yeah. So, Vic, it's about 45 minutes. I have a few questions that the audience is asking, and this may or may not relate, but let me ask you. Dr. Sheetal is asking, can you please give some insight on alkaline water and how it will be helpful? So if you know anything about alkaline water, please share with us. I think there's a lot of questions around this alkaline water and tap water and spring water. So whatever you know on that, please.
Well, I missed the name, but one of the things
Dr.
which
Yeah.
Dr.
Cheetal.
Cheetal.
Yeah.
Everybody should know that our body is alkaline. You know, our blood pH is somewhere around 7.2 to 7.4. Now, remember that our body constantly keep us into alkaline conditions. The minute we become acidic conditions, then we are prone to diseases tremendously, failures of organs, everything. Now, the main thing which is floating in our body is blood, which is also alkaline, by the way, and body constantly keeps it alkaline. And natural blood thinner is a water. Okay. Now, if we can take alkaline water, see, body doesn't have to leach out the alkalinity. How body maintains the alkalinity through our bone systems, you know, and it is a calcium. Calcium leaches out because if you take a lot of acidic food, it will leach out the calcium through your bones, all right? And then as we get older, we have a problem, fractures, things, all other things which will create issues for us is because our bones are weak. You know, we don't have enough calcium. This calcium is leached out because of the body, which naturally keeps itself alkaline all the time. So when we drink alkaline waters and eat alkaline food, by the way, and there are alkaline foods are very easy to identify. It's the same thing what we are talking about, whether I can give them this name or that name. Dead foods are all acidic foods, okay? Live foods are all alkaline foods, all right? So alkaline water, alkaline food is very, very helpful to keep you healthy. So always drink as much as possible natural water in spring water or things like that, or alkaline water.
Okay, so there's a question which I think we've already answered, but I'll read it anyway. Can you please suggest natural source of enzymes? And I think Vic has been answering that, and to be very clear, what he calls live, you know, it means fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, grains that get soaked with sprout, beans that get soaked and sprout. These are all alive food. You notice you pluck an apple from a tree, it's plump, it's live, it's full of not just prana, but perhaps today I would connect it to enzymes. And then after a few days, it kind of wilts, it gets a little smaller. And we, within the meditation, breathing, art of living community, talk about it from the perspective of prana. But Vic, when you say enzyme is energy, then I could kind of speak about it on a more tangible, physical level also, and say that the prana or the enzymes in the apple, as you said, die because they're made from living cells. That's what you said earlier. And so the enzymes also disappear. So the dried apple that's been put in a plastic bag, it's apple, but it's going to need outside support to digest it, or more internal enzyme to digest it. It could have been done by itself had we eaten it fresh. So eat fresh fruit, you know, fruits and vegetables. There's another one. Thank you so much for all this helpful information. I will need to rewatch it. Yes, because there's so much in here. The amount of information you've given, I appreciate it. It's been very easy for us to understand, but the value, what I really want people to get is we've talked so much about wellness from the inside out, you know, in Art of Living, as you know. Breathing, meditation, service, prayer, gratitude, all of those things. But I myself am, you know, part of the challenge that I realize is I wasn't addressing the body health and wellness in the same way as I was addressing the mind and the consciousness and the emotional health. But the house that I'm in also has to be taken care of. The car has to be properly taken care of. It's not enough for the driver to be healthy, you know? So I really want to encourage everybody to look into their health, physical health. Think about what you're eating, light, healthy, live foods. And I'm going to turn it over to Vic for other comments, but just for everyone to hear, I take enzymes, exogenous, I think was the word that you used, meaning supplements, yeah, enzyme supplements, and particularly for inflammation. And with all my travels, the different water, the different countries, the pollution, the lack of routine, sitting on airplanes is so much toxins. And you can imagine they would have been this chronic, you know, exposure to toxins, which would have meant chronic inflammation. And it has made a world of difference for me. And I know that, and I'm going to tell it to you, and you'll find it in the comments, until May 31st. I know that, Vic, you've been very generous, allowing 20% discount. By the way, there's nothing, you know, it's not like I'm promoting it, so there's something in it for me. I'm just sharing with you because it's made a big difference for me. You can go to a website, you'll find the information on the comment, take 20% off. And I'm suggesting there must be many products on your website, but 3 things for inflammation. Actually, I think it's Excellacor.
Yes.
Correct. Seracor NK and serapeptase. Don't worry about remembering the names. I'll have it in the comment. And the code is Rajshree. Use my name, Rajshree, Rajshree. I'll put it down there in the comments, and just try it. See what it does for 30 days. And Vic, we don't have time to get into this, but I also want to say to young women who are still going through their monthly cycle, I know some women who were having a lot of trouble, like before their cycle, a lot of, you know, symptoms of difficulties, backache, stomachache, and so on and so forth, blood clotting. And I don't know, I just suggested that they try enzymes based on what I've learned from you. It could be anecdotal, but it really helped them. And my mind is now saying it may be because the blood is getting cleaned up. And so the flow is easier, the blocks are gone perhaps, and it makes life simpler. So I just really want to suggest that to people. There's a question, any enzyme recommendation we can take to help digest heavy foods, and enzymes that we can take to help with the absorption? So Vic, you answered the question, but the simple thing is there are 3 different main types of enzymes: for fat, for protein, for carbohydrate. But the supplements that I just mentioned, order those 3 supplements, which will help with food and inflammation. Can you talk a little more about this, Vic, please? When do you take it, so when it helps digesting food, and when do you take it so it helps with inflammation?
As I said, Raj, thank you. And two types of enzymes, I separate them. Digestive enzymes, when you take an enzymes, digestive enzymes, which basically breaks down protein, carbs, and fats. And there are so many different small things. It is a very big subject. But there is digestive enzymes, and if you go on a website called www.biomedics.com, you will see that there is an enzymes which are for digestion. And any digestive enzymes which can cover these three major areas. They are carbohydrates, proteases, and lipases. And there are different types of lipases, different types of carbohydrates, and lipases, which will break down different bonds. And I forgot to mention you, but mentioned this before also. But all these enzymes, one enzyme is not the same, like it will take care of all these reactions. They are very specific. They are like a key in the lock. Only that key will open that lock. So that reaction will only happen, catalytic reaction. They will act as a catalyst only for that particular reaction only. So various different list of various different enzymes you see. It's a digestive enzyme. They will help you to digest the food, because when you get a substrate like food, for this matter in chemistry we call it substrate, these enzymes will act as a catalyst to digest that food very efficiently. But when you take these other enzymes like Seracol, Exercol, or
Serapeptase.
yeah, then you take them on an empty stomach in the early in the morning, or after 3 hours of if you take food, and if you have to take it after 3 hours, or at night time, before sleep and things like that. So and with a plenty of water, at least 8 to 10 ounces of water. Drink that water with it. Slightly warm water is more preferable than or room temperature water. Please do not use cold waters, because body temperature has to be 37, 98 degrees Fahrenheit. So keep that in mind. Take it. You will see that gradually it takes, the various different symptoms. All these toxins has to be flushed out of your body, of our bodies. And they're gradual. It doesn't happen. Our body did not get to chronic conditions or various different problematic conditions overnight, and you don't recover immediately. But the toxins which are produced needs to be, flushed out of the system, and you drink lots of water along with that in the daytime, and alkaline water, by the way, Dr. Roshni said. So,
Vika, I have 5 minutes. There are 3 questions on exogenous enzymes. I just want the viewers to understand. Exogenous means you are taking it from an outside source. Is that correct? As a supplement. Yes. That's all that it means. So don't get confused to everybody out there. It's a supplement of enzymes that you're taking from an outside source versus internally your body producing them to break down food or to support low inflammation response. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is there such a thing as overdoing the enzyme supplement? This would be one of our last questions.
Yeah, very interesting, and thank you for asking that question. As I explained that before, Raj, it is a protein. Okay, enzymes are proteins, by the way, and they are biodegradable. That means they become enzyme due to special nature of it, their structure of it, and when that structure is broken down, it is just simply simple amino acids. So it doesn't cause any harm to the body. We have done several different testings on that, and they are usually considered as a safe. Okay, it's called GRAS, generally regarded as safe. There is no reason. Let's say if you are supposed to take 2 enzymes and instead of that you take 6 or 10 or 20, it doesn't cause any toxic effect that we know of as of this day. Okay, and by the way, all the enzymes which are put into the marketplace, most of it, we do a very thorough toxicology studies and everything, and they are, as far as we know and tested, they are very safe. You can take 2 enzymes, you can take 10 enzymes. They will not create 2 side effects.
Yeah. So Viewers, I had asked Vic this question. Is it the more enzymes I take, the faster I will detox my system and the faster the inflammation will go down? And I'm going to let the expert answer, but it's not like that. So Vic, please make sure you talk a little on this also.
Yes, you know, the enzymes is, as I said, they are catalysts. They are not like a petrol. They are not a fuel. So they don't need to have, if you add more oil in the car, does that mean your car will run faster? Not at all. You just need 4 quarts of oil. Same thing is here. You take an enzymes on a regular fashion every single day, and you will see the difference in few weeks, sometimes in few days, sometimes in a week and a couple of weeks. But you cannot take 100 tablets today and say tomorrow I'm just getting better. So take it on regular basis, and don't take too much. There is no, it's waste of money. I mean, if you take too much, it is good for our companies, but not necessarily that you will get better faster. Okay, so
yeah. One last question. If we're vegan or vegetarian and we eat fresh food, does that mean we don't need outside support of enzymes? And how can we know if our body is short of enzymes? Vic, I'm going to let you answer the second part, but I want to say something to everybody, okay? One of the big things he's saying is it's not just to break down food that we eat and need enzymes. Our biological function, so many of the biological functions are dependent on enzymes, including getting rid of waste, whether it's dead cells or toxins that we take in through food, water, air, stress, which creates all these hormonal responses. All of those functions need enzymes. So you eat good food, healthy food, it means it helps break down your food. But what about the rest of the functions? You know, if you have allergies, I've noticed, since I'm taking enzymes, I'm not allergic to the same level as I was before. And I'm deducing, as I've been hearing Vic, as my body clears up toxins, there's more room for my body and my immune system to deal with the crap, you know, that's around me and that I'm inhaling or drinking or eating or whatever it is. So see that you understand it's beyond just digesting food that we're talking about. With that said, any last words, Vic? Anything at all, please?
Well, only thing I will say is that, Raj, you have pointed very well. The few things we should do every day: do your meditation, you know, reduce your stress, eat right food, don't overeat, drink lots of plenty of water, take a good rest, exercise, you know, and be grateful and thankful, and take your enzymes every single day.
Yeah. So Vic, first of all, I love you. Thank you so much for being here and providing all the wealth of knowledge and information, and mostly encouraging us to just be healthy and happy and contributing so much. I know, I don't even know if they understand, but I know that in America, there's a huge industry around enzymes, and you were one of the pioneers. It just gets white labeled from your company, but your specialty is also, you know how to mix enzymes and different things in a particular way. So, you know, your master's in food and science, and I think your BS was in pharmacy or something like that, I forget. Yes. But so much wealth of knowledge. So thank you. I know we have 2 more sessions with you, so I look forward to bringing you back. And on behalf of all the viewers and myself, you know, lots of love, and God bless you, and you stay healthy and happy. And to all of you out there, as always, very happy to have you here. And well, I'll see if I'll be on next Tuesday. I really don't know, because Shree's going to be in town and perhaps I could be busy, but maybe I could go live and show him to you or something and whisper some comments and so on. Okay, so lots of love to everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance, Raj. It was very nice
Absolute.
to talk to all
No,
your viewers.
thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
All.